All right. Hello, folks. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this Tuesday evening. This is our NAMI East Side monthly educational forum. My name is Edie Myers-Power. I am the program manager at NAMI East Side. And super excited tonight to welcome one of our community partner organizations. Welcome to Taylor Richards from Recovery Beyond. They're an organization in Issaquah, so not too far away. And with that, I will just pass it over to you, Taylor, to get started.
All right. Thank you, Edie. So my name is Taylor with Recovery Beyond. I'm a community engagement and peer support specialist for the organization, and I have been here working as staff since April of this year. And I just wanted to give an intro of who we are. Recovery Beyond is a nonprofit community focused on strengthening connection and recovery through outdoor activities. And let me just minimize this real quick. There we go. So yeah, we are, and that's what our niche is, right? So that's a picture of us doing a hike, which is something that we do a lot of. Last year we went on a ton of different hikes. We ended up doing a longer series of mountaineering, and we climbed as a team, a couple of us, not everybody, but climbed Mount Adams. And there was a lot of smaller hikes on the way towards doing something like that. Our story. So our story first began in 2011 when we partnered with the Union Gospel Mission. They created a climbing out of homelessness program to summit Mount Rainier. That was something that was done in that program. It was a group of people that thought, you know, we could do something like that. We could climb Mount Rainier, right? And so that's how this program originated. It stemmed from doing something hard like that. Since then, we wanted to grow that organization and have more of the adventure based and experiences led by peers. So, and that's what we're doing now. We want also like something like Rainier is a very hard climb, and it takes a lot of work to be able to do Mount Rainier. So we have extended it to other events, which we can go into. So that's us doing another climb, and I'm going to be showing a lot of pictures like that in the next couple of slides. So this is us. This is a part of us, right? There's a lot of us. Our mission is to empower individuals in their recovery journey by offering support, education, and advocacy while nurturing sustained health and wholeness. That is our mission. Our vision is to enable all individuals seeking recovery to embrace the transformation or power of outdoor activity and adventure for healing and growth. So that's exactly what we do, right? We use the outdoors to encourage growth. And we've stemmed off not just outdoors, but for instance, we just had last week, we had a bowling social, and we're going to be ice skating next month. And if people want to open up the website while I'm explaining this, our website is, if you want to just at least get familiar with the website we have to offer, it's a very good website that we have. It's recoverybp.org. That is our website. So it's recoverybp.org. And you could just browse around in the website, and there is a couple of tabs. There is a resource tab that shows our private Facebook group. Also, an event, you can look at our event calendar and see the stuff that we had going on this month, and then you could also see next month. And usually we're limited on month to month, and we'll fill up our calendar as time goes on. So it's a really good website, and there's also an option, there's a tab that will say join us. You could either partner with us. You can also volunteer. There's new things on the website as well as such as member meetup. So yeah, I can answer any of those questions about the website if anybody has any more questions about that, I can walk people through that. So our values, and I don't know if you are all seeing the value, the last one, but I see it on here. But we're member centered, right? So we don't call our people that are a part of our community clients, patients, they're members. So if you're a member of Recovery Beyond, then your membership is free. We get grants and donations, so there is no cost to become a member. It's a free membership. And so that's the whole idea with Recovery Beyond. It's having fun, right? Enjoying activities while being safe and being together, learning, going on adventures, enjoying new experiences and making memories with other people that are um in the same path of that right where people are wanting to show up and find a supportive and healthy community, and that's what we're all about. So graceful leadership, we want to make sure that the people that are leading events have experience with these events, know the activity, are safe with the activity, and accountable, right? And so honesty, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And our motto that we talk about with everyone is like the outdoors and recovery are for everyone, right? So we like we thrive when we get outside. Um, oh, somebody has their hand raised. Do you have a question?
Hey Taylor, this is Ellen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Ellen.
So I had a question about members throughout their recovery journey. Are there any expectations about where people are in their journey in terms of abstinence or things like that? Or, how would you explain who the appropriate member would be?
Right. So we have a 72-hour policy of no using substances within 72 hours. And also, people are able to, if they have like a prescription from a doctor or something like that, harm reduction is acceptable, right? And but there is no UA testing or anything like that done. And it's taking people at their word, right? And other peers are there's a there's some members that have a recovery date, right? Some people follow a date, they have 10 years, 12 years, 5 years, 2 years. And some people are just like, I'm in recovery.
Okay, great. So if I heard you correctly, there's no firm rule around it, but the guidelines are no substance use within 72 hours of, I guess, attending an event, unless it's a harm reduction scenario where, you would hope that there's a doctor's prescription behind it.
Exactly.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so how to get involved. And I let everybody, I know a couple people jumped in a little bit late, but we have a really good website. If you want to take a look at that, it's recoverybp.org. There's a way on the website. If you go to the website, you can look on there where it says join us. I do believe it says join us. Sorry, I usually have this in my hand when I'm doing this.
It's okay,
So,
Taylor. I dropped the link to the website in the chat for people too, so they should be able
oh,
to click on that too. Yeah.
nice. Thank you for doing that. So,
Yeah, no
yeah,
problem.
it says get involved. And this is how people when on the website, this is how people are able to fill out a member interest form. So If you go to get involved, you'll see membership, and then you'll see interested in joining, and then you fill out a member interest form. And then what that does is it would direct them to somebody that would call them, reach out, give them the whole rundown of what we are and how to use the calendar and how to register for events. And so there's also a place where people can get involved, volunteer, partner, donate. And so that's the thing. We partner with other organizations in the community that offer services that we can't provide here at Recovery Beyond, you know? So there's that. And also, here's our trail map. So these are the type of activities that we have here. And the reach experiences are something like, for instance, Mount Adams. We did Mount Adams. A small group of us of 12 did Mount Adams. We have over 300 members. So not everybody's going to want to do something like that, right? But there are a lot of people there. I mean, there's some people that do want to do something like that. And then we'll have Camp Recovery Beyond, which is a lot like more people are able to do something like that, go camping, right? And so last year we rented out a cabin and we had almost close to 50, 60 people showed up near Forks, Washington. And we had tents. Some people slept out in the tents outside of the cabin, and some people slept in the cabin. It was a great time. There was food. We were there for a couple of days, and we gathered around. We didn't have a campfire because we weren't allowed to have campfires, but there was like a propane tank and some flame, so we were able to roast some marshmallows. Yeah, Ellen, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was curious more about the members. Would you say, like, how would you describe the age range, just the general demographic, in terms of where people are coming from or like sexual orientation? I'm just curious who the people are that would make up the community of over 300 people.
That's a great question. Um, well, I would say the age range is anywhere from 28 to around 30 to probably 55 would be like the bulk of the ages. 30, 20, 28 to 30, 28 to 55 around there, maybe 28 to 56. And it's a middle of men and women. It's about 50%, 50-50. We have a demographics. I don't have that memorized, but I can give that information to you um, when we have those numbers.
Okay.
And just a lot of people that are really interested in the outdoors, that are interested in recovery, that are interested in building connections and making friends, I would say.
Great. And so it's pulling from all around Washington.
Yeah, well, primarily it's King County and Pierce County would be the majority of our members. Like
Okay.
70% of our members are coming from King County,
Okay.
but we're working on building membership in Pierce County and all over the state. So, I mean, there are people joining from, very small amounts, but like a person like joined in Yakima and one person joined in Spokane, and there's like maybe five or six in Snohomish County and
Okay.
um, Kitsap County.
That's awesome. That's great.
And so we also have activities and play, which these would be smaller adventures, um, like hiking, backpacking, mountaineering, camping, paddleboarding, trail walking, snowshoeing, recreational sports. We're thinking about even putting together a baseball team, which, I think would be really fun. And then fishing, biking, sailing. So those would be some of the activities that we do. depending on, where we can do that at, right? So like that's another part of my job where I have to call and see what other places could work with nonprofits and where we could what we could do that's fun for our members. And then training and education on our event calendar, you'll see there are some training events like um, next week. I don't know if anybody knows this. It's RAD, Recovery Advocacy Day, and they're going to be going to Olympia. A group of 6 of us, um, 3 members and 3 staff, are going to be driving down there, and we're going to go to the Capitol. And we are some of our members are professionals, some of our members are counselors, some of our members are in college, some of our members are in the field, right? And they want to get better at their profession. So we're going to be going down there. There's a lot of people with a passion for recovery. So community socials are monthly gatherings for friends and family. You could bring your family to these socials. We did a Friendsgiving. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Recovery Cafe, but we partnered with the Recovery Cafe around November and had a Friendsgiving, and there was 60 people there. And it was awesome. It was really fun. And it's yeah, it's good. We all brought food. Okay, so let's see. Let me look at my time here. We're good. All right. So Recovery Beyond led events. So these are specifically events sponsored and managed and supervised by Recovery Beyond and staff. So at a Recovery Beyond led event, these would be where there would be gear provided. Like we have a gear locker close to our office. So if somebody needs gear, they would be able to let one of us know that they need something, and we would go try to see if we could find it, right, in our locker. And if we can't find it, usually we have extra gear available for members that don't have it. And so supervised, meaning these Recovery Beyond led events are um, they are, there's going to be staff there. There's going to be, it goes a lot of planning into it. So if you look on the calendar, there's a snowshoeing scavenger hunt on the 1st of February. So that's a Recovery Beyond led event. There's also volunteer-led events, where events facilitated by Recovery Beyond and led by a qualified volunteer. So a volunteer could lead an event if they're, certified in a specific, sorry, I'm trying to find my words here, certified in that area of that event. We're doing something new called member meetups. So we have a huge Facebook group where also on our calendar is a walk around Green Lake. So one of our members thought, let's just do that. Let's go walk around Green Lake, walk, run, jog around Green Lake every Monday at 4 p.m. Right? And so now that's opened up as like a member meetup. So somebody else could do that, along, where there's like a specific location where somebody's like, hey, you know what? Every Tuesday, I'm gonna run around Seward Park, something like that, right? Then we could just be like, oh yeah, do you think people would show up? And then if you get like 4 or 5 people, they would show up to that. Then we would put something like that on our calendar. And also, that's on our website too. If you want to do a member meetup, you can also do that from our website. Okay, so now we're getting into the ways of, these are the 4 ways to volunteer. And this is also, there's a volunteer interest form on our website. And I was just going to go over these different types of, there's an activity lead, there's an activity helper, there's a first aid, and there's peer guides. So an activity lead is a qualified leader at Recovery Beyond activities and events that can provide knowledge and skills and guidance to a specific activity. right? And then a helper would be somebody that's one of our members that would be able to help that person set this up. Like I led a scavenger hunt and it was my first one leading a scavenger hunt. So I had to do all the research to try to figure this out. And I partnered up with this organization called Peer Kent. And I had to, watch YouTube videos on how to set up a scavenger hunt. Scavenger hunt's something a little bit less technical than a hike or something. But I've also led hikes before, and had people help me lead those hikes. And then first aid volunteers. These are people with any certified trained EMT, CPR, which I also have a CPR certificate. And like when we went and did Mount Adams, we had a couple of these with us. We had EMT, um, firefighter, things like that went with us on that trip to Mount Adams. A peer guide are trusted Recovery Beyond members who, want to support members in the community. And so I'm a certified peer coach. We also have Elizabeth. She mainly works South Washington or South Sound. She's also a certified peer coach. And then we also have a peer support manager. Her name is Megan, and she is the one that's building a recovery coach model for us. It's not in full effect yet, but it's in the process. So she will contact people if they're like they're mentioning I really need to talk to somebody or I really need support right now, or like we have a Facebook group and some people, will not be on like saying things that seem like they're having a hard time, right? So they'll post something and then Megan will be the person that would reach out to them to see if what's going on, right? And how she can help. So this is what our individual peer support is like right now. And these are evolving, these are getting better. We want this to be available for people that join our community. Peer guides are um and then a lot of it is like showing up. Like people will become members and then they won't show up to any of the events and we're like, it's hard to get to know people if we don't see them around. And so peer coaches, that's what I was talking about earlier is certified peer counselors. And they are also coming out with another one. It's certified peer support specialist, and that's coming to an effect this year, which we both plan on getting that. And there's a huge thick book that we're gonna go over here in the next month to get that language down of what it means to be a peer support specialist and how we can best um, support our members. Yes, Edie, am I?
Yes. Yeah, I just had a question, like, for example, if I was working with somebody who I felt like would benefit from talking to a peer guide or peer coach with Recovery Beyond, what is the best way for me to like refer them over to you? Is there a good way for me to do that on the website, or is like emailing you the best way to do that? Like what does that process look like of like a referral, I guess?
Oh, so you have somebody that might be a good referral to be a peer coach or a peer guide?
Or I was thinking someone who might need the help of a peer coach, but also someone who might be a good peer coach. Yeah. Why don't you answer both ways that question goes for me?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there is a contact us if you fill out this form, right? On our website, if you go to member and then uh you would go to resources and then you would go to contact, right? And then you would type in first, last name, email, and then how we can help and that will send that message to the info@recoverybp.org email. Either of us would be able to get that, and then somebody would reach out to them and find out. Because we actually, what we do is we're we're talking to community partners all the time. So if somebody comes out to us with a question like, "Hey, I need some recovery coaching," we'll just ask those questions. Like what we offer right now is once a week for 1 hour a week. Sometimes I think it's actually I think that it might be a little bit. I think it's one once a week, because right now I don't have anybody that I'm coaching personally, and I know that people are requesting it. And Elizabeth, she does Pierce County, she's only coaching one person right now. So they could, reach out to, they could put their name and email and say, I need a recovery coach in that message bar. And then Megan's the person that would reach out to them to find out more information. And then Megan would be able to either coach her herself, or um, offer a peer guide of a member in the community that she might think that would go good with that person. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
All right. So so that is something that is important. And I people have always said that it's really hard to make friends as an adult, right? And so I think that it is hard. It is hard to make friends as an adult. And a lot of the friends that I've made recently have been at work, right? So it's because you're spending time with these people. It's like just like school. When I was going to school, I made lots of friends because I was like stuck in the classroom in the same situation with all these other kids my age, right? It's easier to make friends. And so that's how I feel like this organization is, with putting yourself in a situation where you're around that person, like especially on hikes, snowshoeing, getting out there, learning something that you've never done before. It puts you in that zone of where you see people and you realize like, wow, this is I can talk to this person. I can, be friends with this person. And um that's what it is, right? It's like getting out there and doing things. So this is our reach right now. 350 active members as of now, and that number has been climbing. It's so much more than it was when I first started. And yeah, it's been a real huge increase of people that are interested in getting involved and being, a part of this community and being active members. And I have a really good feeling that's going to get really busy this summer. It's going to get really busy with a lot of people wanting to connect. And yeah, there's a yeah, it's just the Facebook community page has gone up, LinkedIn, so it's getting the community is getting it's growing. Um Community partners, right? So this is what I do, as well as working with new members. I want to find other programs that that share resources, and I go to a lot of um, resource connection fairs, things like that. Like I spend a lot of time talking to other organizations to find out what they're doing, to see how we can collaborate and share our resources with them, and they could share us, because I want to be a good peer, right? If I don't know how to help somebody, I want to be like, oh, I know who you can talk to. Let me look at my huge, overwhelming Google slide or Google sheet that I have. I keep track of all these places, and so that I can find the right person that might be able to work with what you're asking me. And then I also get an opportunity to learn and figure out what there is out here because there's a lot that I didn't know about. I was a counselor for a couple of years at Evergreen Treatment Services. I'm a substance use counselor in training. I got all my hours there at Evergreen, and I wouldn't know what to tell people when they would say a situation because I didn't know about community partners until I started doing outreach. So, yeah, it's good to know what other people are doing because there's a lot of programs that are supportive and helpful that want to help people that want people to call them. So, ways to get started. So, this is how we can do it, right? So, you could either refer people to us or people can sign up to become members or people have been signing up through the Facebook community page. I also speak at a couple of treatment centers monthly. Um, there's things like bridge activities where you could check out our calendar and you're like, wow, I want to go to this. Or, like the bowling event, you could register and show up. Even like a social is something that you could show up to without registering as a member. You could just show up to one of those activities. When it comes to something like a hike, that is where there is, questions like, what's your physical limitability? Have you done this before? And then we would also have to have a participation liability form filled out. But bridge activities would be you could come to one of our events to see what it is all about. A hybrid activity is we collaborate an activity with your members. And so an example of this is I worked last year and I'm going to be working this year once a week with the Salvation Army. They have a men's program, and I have worked out a partnership with someone there that lets them go out once a month and go hiking. So I take them out to like a smaller hike. He has a van, he's able to like bring them out there, and everybody signs a participation form, and we have walkie-talkies, we have first aid kits, we have somebody that's done it before, and we take our time and we go hiking once a month. That's an example of like a hybrid. And I also partnered up with Peer Kent where we did a scavenger hunt. So we do hybrid activities all the time with other organizations. An exclusive activity would be setting up something that would be specifically for your organization. And if that's something that you would want us to do, we would be able to do that, right? Set up an activity if that's what you wanted, something specifically for your organization. So these are just some testimonies.
Okay, Taylor, I think Ellen has her hand raised again.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
hang
had
on.
it up. I just had a question. On the website, it mentions a new documentary, Walking on Ice, and I was just curious what that's about.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good question. I was gonna talk about that. I'm actually really looking forward to that documentary because I'm in that documentary. I went out there with a group of people that it was we got we we got accepted to go to the Boundary Waters of Minnesota, and we partnered up with or Recovery Beyond partnered up with the Outward Bound organization. It's another nonprofit. And when I did that adventure, I was only a member at that time. I had not become staff yet. And we went to the Boundary Waters in Minnesota as a group of 7 of us, and yeah, it's about our adventure out there in the Boundary Waters of Minnesota, and that's going to be out in theaters on February 16th at the North Bend Theater. And I've got a feeling that that place is going to be packed. So, but we're gonna play multiple showings. If anybody wants to go see it, you can watch the trailer. The trailer is really good. It's really powerful, and yeah, it was a great time. And all those people that I was on that trip with, I have nothing but good things. Like, I mean, it's just I still talk to them. I still hang out with them. You know, we're friends.
That's awesome. We didn't know we had a celebrity amongst us.
Celebrity. My our executive director said that my hand is gonna hurt so bad because I'm gonna be signing so many signatures. So nah, I'm excited. And yeah, so it's gonna be good. And that's gonna be coming out next month. And we are wanting to, you know, just get that out there that recovery can be fun. Recovery is another word for living. So that's all I got, you guys.
This was great. I would love it. I don't know if you're planning to share a copy of the slides. I know Edie said that the recording of this is going to be available, but I would love to share this with some of my colleagues. I think this would be a great resource for the people that we serve in King County.
Yeah, it's definitely Taylor, if you are comfortable sharing the slides, I can totally send those out to everyone that registered tonight. If you're comfortable with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd
yeah,
be great. If you want to just email them to me then and I can send them out to everybody, that would be cool. Then we'll get those out to you, Ellen.
yeah.
Very cool. Taylor, what do you, I guess just kind of follow up to everything. I know you were talking about how much your organization has been growing. Like, what do you see as Recovery Beyond's like big goals for the future as you guys are just like growing so rapidly? Like, do you feel like, are there like, do you guys have big plans? Are you still figuring out what's next to put on the goals or what do you think?
Yeah, what we're doing is we've got really high hopes of creating something that is going to be in multiple states, multiple chapters, you know, a growing community for people that fit this bracket. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of an organization called the Phoenix, but it's something similar, but it's not even close to like what we are. It's something totally different. But we're tying in peer support with the outdoors. So having that peer support model, not clinical, doing that with the outdoors and making it available so that that's what we talked about this year is how we're going to integrate more of this peer support model and recovery coach style.
Very cool. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think you had one of the testimonials on there was just talking about how great it is for not only the recovery but their mental health as well. And
Mm.
it feels like a model and it feels like activities that just make a lot of sense. One more follow-up question for you just to keep the ball rolling, but what do you think, like, why do you think it's so important to incorporate like the outdoors into these community event, like, for people who are at every different stage in their recovery, like what does the outdoors do specific, like you could be holding community events that are just community events, but you incorporate this aspect of like exploring nature and adventuring, like what do you think that adds to that experience for people?
Um, well, I think that people that struggle with substance use or mental health, even either one of those, they have this they're stuck in a loop almost of where they're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But when you go on an adventure, it's giving yourself an invitation to play and do something different that you're not, and then you have to rely on other people to kind of get you through that adventure.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like there's a teamwork aspect to that as well. And like
Mhm.
helping build community through that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and so like the outdoors especially, it's something that we're missing because we've been um this, it's so, and plus like the views and um yeah, it's done a lot for me because I wanted to get outside, and a lot of these things may cost too, like it's too much money, or it takes a lot of work to get out like to these places, but the reward is, it's just like, wow, that was worth it. Like all that hard work to get out here, like that was so worth it, you know?
Yeah, very cool. Okay, I have one last question for you, Taylor, and then we can wrap up unless there's any other audience questions. But I just wanted to ask, what is your favorite thing that you've ever done with Recovery Beyond so far, as a member or as a staff, whichever.
Um, hmm, Probably kayak the San Juan Islands. Man, actually, no, 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 no. Maybe Mount St. Helens because that was like the first mountain I've ever, like big mountain I've ever climbed. I also did the Enchantment through hike with members that I met through Recovery Beyond.
Wow, it's like you've got so many big things that it's hard to choose. It's hard to
Yeah, it
choose.
is.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Very cool. All right. Does anybody else have any questions for Taylor at all before we wrap things up?
Also, if anybody wants to email me or call me, I could put my email in the chat.
Yeah, that would be great. And I'll send an email to all of our folks who registered for the event, include the slides as well as the link to the recording, which I have that up on YouTube. And I can include your email in that as well, Taylor, just so folks can reach out. All right. Well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you so much, Taylor, for telling us all about Recovery Beyond and all the awesome stuff y'all are doing over there. I love to use these spaces to just spread the word about our partner organization. So I really appreciate you taking the time on a Tuesday evening, and I appreciate folks who joined us tonight and those who are watching the recording. Um, but yeah, I'll just say I think that's great. Any last notes from you, Taylor?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to. All right. Great. Well, everyone have a lovely Tuesday evening, and we'll see you next time. Our next monthly educational forum, sponsored by Evergreen Health, is in February. It's on February 25th. So if you found us through our newsletter or through our website, you'll see news about what our next month's forum will be, hopefully in the next couple weeks here. So thanks again for joining us.
All right. Thank you.